Help support Name Explain by liking this video, leaving a comment and subscribing to the channel. With the dawn of the internet and the advent of the World Wide Web, things suddenly got way more connected. People from across the globe could talk to one another and even celebrate things they were unable to talk about with people in their actual lives. Chat rooms and forums sprung up all over the place where people from across the world could gather and talk about all kinds of late 90s and early 2000s things. It would have been an exciting but somewhat scary time. While pretty much everyone uses the internet now, from tiny children to confused aunts, at this time the internet was only really used by, well, nerds, and the general public were not as clued up on how exactly it worked, or even how safe it was. This meant people were not as open about who they were in real life online. They wouldn't give away personal information, share pictures of themselves, or of course use their own names. In fact, kids in schools and people across the world were told to specifically not use their own names when interacting with others online. It was the done thing. Hence the birth of classic usernames / screen names like Vampire Lover 86, Mr. Cool, I Love Dogs 03, and all kinds of silly names like that. It was a strange new world and no one really knew just how important the internet and the World Wide Web would become. Today, however, things are much more different. People are way more comfortable with the internet and more people are open to using their actual names online. Though even to this day on sites like Twitter and YouTube and Instagram, many people still use screen names of their own concoction that aren't their actual names. Yes, you may be shocked to hear that my name isn't actually Name Explain. That's not what it says on my passport. Yet. However, there's one place online that's the black sheep in all of this. The big, huge, massive, ginormous black sheep. Not only does this social media platform not allow you to use screen names, but they demand that you use your actual real name. And of course that huge social media site is Facebook. Facebooks, with the space, are the books large organizations use as directories for the people in that organization. These books not only have names in, but pictures of the faces of the people too. It's a book of faces. A Facebook. An online Facebook was used at Harvard University, where Mark Zuckerberg once studied. When he created his social media network, he named it after the Facebook his university used, and in fact it was initially called The Facebook. Eventually the was dropped and just Facebook was born, and since then Facebook has become a noun known around the globe. However, it has evolved to not only be a noun but can be used as a verb too. Think of phrases like I'll Facebook that later on, and even an adjective like calling someone a Facebook mum. I remember first getting Facebook myself. I would have been pretty young at that time. I was too young for MySpace, but for a few years Bebo was my jam. But then more and more people at my school got Facebook, so I joined the fun too. And it was fun to begin with. Seeing status updates from my friends, seeing pictures being uploaded from days out, and even those pictures of various characters that you get tagged in along with your friends. But over the years, as my feed got clogged with more people, and those people started sharing stuff I didn't care for, my experience with Facebook started going downhill. And now if I had to describe Facebook in one word, there's only one word that comes to mind. Weird. Like really weird. Between what people choose to share on Facebook and how Facebook chooses to present this information to me, weird is truly the only word that fits the bill for myself. And this weirdness even leaks into how Facebook handles the names of their users. Facebook has a somewhat strict naming policy. Like there's a whole page on their site explaining what names are allowed on Facebook. Straight from the horse's mouth, Facebook say that your name can't include symbols, numbers, unusual capitalizations, repeating characters or punctuation, characters from multiple languages, titles of any kind, words or phrases in place of a name, or offensive or suggestive words of any kind. They even say that other things you should keep in mind is that the name on your profile should be the name that your friends call you in everyday life. Nicknames can be used as a first or middle name if they're variations of your authentic name, like using Bob instead of Robert. You can list another name on your account like a maiden name, nickname, and professional name. Profiles should be for individuals only, and that using someone else's name, aka pretending to be someone else, isn't allowed. And if you messed up spelling your name or just want to change it, you can only change it every 60 days. So maybe you're thinking that these are fair rules and don't sound too crazy or limiting, especially if you think everyone should be using their own name and fake names should not be allowed. However, there's a slight issue with this, as there are many people who have been disallowed from using their own actual names on Facebook due to these policies. In fact, there's a whole Wikipedia page dubbed Facebook Real Name Policy Controversy, and it has many examples of users affected by these rules, even when they use their own actual names. It seems users that have been most affected by this are Native Americans. Native Native Americans have all kinds of wonderful naming traditions. Yes, someday I will make a video about them, that lead to all kinds of wonderful and interesting names, albeit they are rather unique. A great example of this is with the South Dakotan Sioux tribe member Robin Kills the Enemy. At first she was unable to even make an account with her surname. To combat this, she wrote it as one word with no spaces. When she had been on the site for some time, she reached out to Facebook asking if they could change her name to how it's properly spelled, which led to them deactivating her account due to it being a fake name. She eventually got the account back, but it seems this stung her and her perception of the site. Likewise, the Oklahoman Kiowa tribe member Shane Creeping Bear reported that he'd been kicked off the site due to his name being fake. It's not just Native Americans who were affected by this, however. In 2008, a Japanese lady by the name Hiroko Yoda was suspended from Facebook as they thought her surname was a joke due to it being the same as a certain seagull-hating green alien. Likewise, many Scottish and Irish people have been denied accounts or have been suspended for using their Gaelic names on the platform. Transgender people too have faced challenges with their new names believed to not be real, and I've even read that people with very common names like John Smith have been banned, as names like John Smith are seen as being so generic and common that it must be a fake name. However, since issues like these have come to light, Facebook have relaxed their naming policy somewhat. They've stated that users do not need to use their legal names, but the name used should be the name people identify them with in real life. As I mentioned earlier when I was reading out their policies, prior to this, however, Facebook's stance on names was the name you use should be your real name as it would be listed on your credit card, which is just a little bit creepy, but we'll talk about that creepiness down the line. Anyway, how exactly do people feel about Facebook and their naming rules anyway? Well, it seems that millions upon millions of people are happy to comply with them and use their actual name on Facebook. Pretty much everyone who pops up on my timeline uses their actual name. However, this definitely isn't everyone, as you will find people using fake names on Facebook. Hey, there are even articles online explaining how to change your name on the site and how to pick a fake name without raising Facebook's alarms. They suggest all kinds of things. I've read things like using your middle name as your surname to completely removing the vowels from your name. Though, why would people not want to use their actual name on the site? There are actually many reasons why. I've read that people use different names because they can't legally change their name yet, because they want to be more known by their stage name, and perhaps the reason I see most often, because they don't want people to find them on the site, despite the whole point of Facebook being to connect people. Some want to use the site to connect with some people, but not all people. The best example of this has to be with teachers. If you have any friends on Facebook who are teachers, it's pretty likely to use a different name on the site to make sure their students don't find them. Though I do remember the thrill of finding a teacher on Facebook. A fantastic article from The Verge, which will be linked down below, talks to people who use different names on Facebook. Brooklyn resident Drew Mason explains that he dropped his actual surname from the site after one of their privacy breaches, and that his girlfriend uses her grandmother's maiden name as a surname. They both feel that their fake names don't really interfere too much with how they use Facebook, and have in fact gotten rather used to them. Meanwhile, Chris Kaysen now goes by just Chris K on the site, in order to make himself harder to find. So why does Facebook even demand that you use your real name on the platform, where pretty much everywhere else doesn't give a hoot? Well, it's because Facebook has a very different aim to other social media platforms, and that's connecting people. We've all heard the stories of long lost friends and family being reunited thanks to Facebook, and I've maintained many friendships myself thanks to the site. And despite how rough I've been on the site in this video, I do respect this side of it. Facebook is a really good tool for finding people you have lost contact with, and for staying in contact with people, even if that staying in contact is just tangentially by seeing their updates on Facebook without actually talking to them directly. Real talk for a moment. I've travelled on my own in the past. It's really fun but can get a little lonely. But just checking Facebook, seeing the people I knew back home just getting on with their lives, was somewhat comforting in a weird way. Now don't worry, we'll go back to being angry at Facebook in a moment. When it comes to keeping in contact with someone or locating someone from your past, perhaps the single most important thing you need to know about them, even if you know nothing else, is their name. So connecting with someone, which is Facebook's mantra, remember, becomes kind of hard to do when they aren't using their actual name. In Facebook's eyes, fake names pretty much destroy the ideology of the entire platform. Facebook also reported that around 83 million accounts on the site are duplicate, spam, or even accounts for non-people. And by non-people, I mean accounts for pets, because people do that still apparently. They see these sorts of accounts as damaging to their brand and image, though the article I'm getting this from was written way before Facebook destroyed their brand and image themselves. However, there is something of a darker, more more cynical idea as to why Facebook want you to use your real name so badly. And that's the idea that Facebook is basically a giant sticker book for Zuckerberg, where he can have all the people of planet Earth in one neat place for himself to play around with. Okay, so that may be a tad hyperbolic, but this idea is that Facebook wants to use their platform to build the most comprehensive database of people on the planet, and it really has, as people have chosen to join that database themselves. With a database that big, Facebook could become the sole platform for people to use for their news, entertainment, and even do their banking on and use to vote. And of course, having so many people in one place entering their interests is a godsend for advertisers who can direct specific ads to these millions of people, hence why Zuckerberg has a net worth of $80.7 billion. However, a database like this needs all the correct information, including the correct names. So if a database as huge as Facebook is full of fake and incorrect information, then the database is pretty much worthless, putting Facebook's public perception and income on the line solely because of fake names. So should you really be using your real name on Facebook? And is Facebook's name policy really as weird as I think it is? And are they right to demand your actual name from you? Well, in all honesty, I'm not too sure. Perhaps you guys can answer the question, however. Do you think Facebook should demand your real name when pretty much everywhere else does not? Do you even use Facebook? I'd love to hear from younger people on this matter. To me, Facebook is just this thing I got as a kid and has stuck around since. But to the youth of today, is Facebook even an exciting thing? Or is it just seen as a site full of old people leaving cringy comments? Though all that Facebook chat reminds me, you should definitely go check out NameExplain on Twitter. What? It's the social media platform I prefer. Thank you to all my patrons who support NameExplain on a monthly basis. NameExplain depends on small monthly donations from fans like you to help keep the channel running. Just a small amount of $2 a month helps in a huge way, grants you patron exclusive NameExplain extras, and gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you. Hello all, and thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Check out another one and subscribe to stay up to date on all things NameExplain. You can follow myself on Twitter at NameExplainYT. Follow me there and tweet the name Mark at me so I know you came from this message. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.